Andrew Partridge from Michell Wool joins us again here on FlowFM. And Andrew, look, there's only so much supply the wool market seemed to be able to take this week.
It is, mate, unfortunately. So we're looking at those, we're pushing up to that 60,000 bale offering this week, and even next week too. We've got another big offering coming. Yes, dare I say it, oversupply. And we talk about sort of 45,000 bale national sales are quite acceptable to buyer and seller. And so, pushing up quantity that invariably can create a bit of negativity for sure.
How long has it been since we've seen an offering of that level? I'm only looking at sort of annual graphs in front of me. It does seem a bit astronomical.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, a couple of years. Yeah, it's been 3 years since we've had an offering that big in 1 week.
And the price took a hammering as a result, but was it a consistent hammering through the week, or was it sort of an ugly first quarter and we pulled it back towards the end of the match?
Yeah, so the ugliness was in the first day, on the Tuesday. Anticipation was that it would be cheaper because we're leading in from the close of the week before, which was a bit sloppy. Lack of Chinese activity, unlike the 7 days previous where all guns were firing. So, all the ugliness was on the first day. And the market actually levelled out on the Wednesday, and then Melbourne selling on its own on Thursday. So really, a bit of red on the page. Merino's dropped 30 to sort of 50 for the week, but actually pretty strong, unchanged market Wednesday, Thursday.
And I do recall, you can correct me here, I might have to check the tape. I think you said at the end of our chat last Friday that you were nervous there was a bit too much quiet on the Chinese buying front.
Yeah, it did come to fruition, unfortunately, mate. So we can have these little rises of 10s and 20 cents, and the Chinamen, the exporters can actually transfer that price over to sales overseas quite easily. And you imagine, telling someone to go and buy a jumper for $50 1 week, and then next week it's going to cost you $80. You're going to be a bit frowning, aren't you? So, a bit bigger rise, and now the market's sort of come back to where the Chinese are happy to book again, and it looks like their sales have sort of resumed overseas. So as we're sort of alluding to, Wednesday, Thursday, the market flattened out. So you can look into it and say, oh, geez, the market come off, but actually it performed very well in this large offering.
And despite the, all of the activity in terms of the higher and finer classes, it does seem like the crossbeds were ticking along pretty nicely, though.
There's a little glimmer of light coming, Ricky, on the crossies. Interesting enough, in the spring of this year, on a forward contract basis, you can actually write contracts at a premium to the market for crossbeds. It's only 400 clean for 28 microns, but the indicator went up 10 cents this week to 370, and you can actually forward sell crossbeds in the spring at $4. So a little bit of positivity there.
Yeah, that's very tidy. Now, it does seem, I know the shearers are going as hard as they can when they can get the staff to get the wool clip off, but it does seem that they're not deterred, the market, in terms of how much they're putting up for next week.
That's right, yeah. So we're seeing plenty coming forward, and a lot of that crossbred wool's probably been sitting around since before Christmas, so growers are now deciding, there's a few bills coming in. Obviously, this time of year, they're about to start think about putting crop in, and the lack of income, and generally this time of the year, more bills than credit. So, there's a bit more wool coming on for sale, and it's for sale. It's legitimately for sale.
Yeah, well, we're a bit far away from the footy season, so we have to get your tip for the market. How do you think the market's going to go this week off the back of what we're seeing? Yeah,
it's looking solid. Yeah, no, I'm happy with these levels. 21's trading at 1,500 clean. That's a ripping price for me. So, it equates to nearly well over $10 a kilo for those merino growers, and good heavy cutting merinos, as we've been saying. It's sort of $80 to $100 a head now for good heavy cutting medium merinos. That's good money.
Now, just one thing I want to pick up on. I remember talking with the late Stephen Reid from Michell Wool about this 50,000 sort of theoretical level in the market when it comes to offerings. He was also, I recall from memory, he was sort of negative about this idea of somehow capping out the market. I mean, is there still debate around the sale yards there about the possibility that 60's too much and something needs to be done about it?
Yeah, so we've got, basically alludes to each day in the sale room, they can sell 1,200 lots per sale room per day. There's no restriction in actual amount of days in the week you can sell. We can have actually, in the back of the day, I'm going back 20, 30 years ago, we had 4-day sales in Melbourne. We're having 3 at the moment. But I'm pretty sure on the rule book, there's no restriction on the amount of days you can sell. There's only a restriction on the amount of lots per day. So there's actually, when we put our broker estimates in, there's no actual cap. So we do a 4-week forecast for the auctions, and that forecast can change from 1 week to the next, and there's no restriction. So a sale could basically double in a week, and there's no restriction to say, hang on, fellas, that's too much.
Well, I guess where there's a will, there's a way when it comes to the wool market. Andrew Partridge from Michell Wool. We'll watch with interest whether that market's as solid as you're predicting next week here on Flow FM.
Thank you.